to have you back. It is still Good Morning Anambra Thursday episode, and we are still rolling. Now we want to look at the second topic we have for you today, which is World Antibiotics Awareness Week. Now, World Antibiotics Awareness Week starts on 12th November every year and is aimed at increasing global antibiotics resistance and to encourage best practices among the general public, health workers, and policymakers to avoid the further emergence and the spread of antibiotic resistance. And to help us look at this today, I have the Honorable Commissioner for Health, Anambra State, Dr. Joseph Akabike, with us. You're welcome, Doc.
Good morning.
And I also have Honorable Kate Edozie. Honorable Kate is SSA to Governor Obiano on Health. Kate, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, now that we are here, Honorable Commissioner, sir, you are a senior member of the Anambra State Executive Council, and just 2 days ago, who woke up to hear about impeachment saga here and there. Could you please just let us into that, because we have you here. People will want to hear what really happened just briefly before we get to the main business of the day.
Well, I think our government, they have a way to let information to the public. That should be the work of the Commissioner for Information, to make sure that the information is given appropriately.
Okay. All right. Now to the business of the day. So could you please throw more light on what this World Antibiotic Day is all about?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, the World Antibiotic Day is actually the genesis from the World Health Organization, and the essence is to educate the populace and the general people that the uses of antibiotics, and so what should also come up from it when it's not properly used. But antimicrobial agents actually focus at bacteria. Killing off bacteria that cause various illnesses in the body, from the upper respiratory tract, from contagious and contaminous infections. But when not properly used, they lead to a lot of problems, and that's why the whole world is being sensitized. And as much as antibiotics is good, that it has to be used properly. Because what we are now having, and that's why we're here, is some of the outcome of not using it properly.
Okay, before we continue about the usage and how to use it well and how not to use it, what is this antibiotics for ordinary people, for an ordinary man? What is antibiotics? What does it mean? How do you identify it?
Okay, I think I will take that.
Okay.
Yeah, no. You see, it's antibio. So it's supposed to be against life. Okay, so it is targeted at microorganisms, and but particularly bacteria. So that you say is the antibiotics. So when you come, you have as against antimicrobial. Antibiotics is targeted at various bacteria. So that's what the meaning of. So various bacteria that cause illness.
Antibiotics is not just the drugs in rubber kits.
No. They come in various forms. They have the injectables, okay, they have the capsules, they have the orals, but they are targeted against bacteria only, not even against viruses. There are other kind of microorganisms, the fungi, the viruses, and the other microorganisms. But these ones are meant for bacteria, and when you use it against what it is meant for, that's where you begin to have problems like the resistance that we're going to talk in details now.
Okay, yeah, we are going to that. But before we go on, Honorable Kate Edozie, could you please throw more light on what we are doing today? That's World Antibiotic Awareness Week.
Thank you very much. The World, just like you have said, the World Antibiotic Awareness Week actually started on Monday. Each day there is a unique message. Today is the 4th day, and the message of today is to let the general public be aware that there is something like antimicrobial resistance, for them to handle antibiotics with care and to think twice before using antibiotics. So the general public, they might not know, they will be just like the second moderator was asking. Yeah, what they know is Ampiclox. And yes, ampicillin, erythromycin, and stuff like that. Yeah, these are the different brands of antibiotics in the market that the lay people out there know. We want to tell them that they should stop using it carelessly and they should stop sharing it, because some people, antibiotics usually have what we call defined daily doses, and some people, they don't follow the dose. And sometimes, even when they do, they don't finish it. They will see somebody else that say, hey, so they share among their family and friends, and that is not good. So we are here today to let them know that they should think twice before using antibiotics.
Go say maybe one packet of one sachet of ogu, somebody can for a particular ailment.
Yes.
What is more important, let me just follow up to that.
Okay.
Antibiotics has what you call the dose that is enough to eliminate the organism. Antibiotic is supposed to kill off that bacteria. Okay, so when you don't take enough of it, that bacteria will get used to that drug, and then the drug becomes useless, and that's what we call resistance. So you should take it enough to eliminate the organism from the system. So it's not like if you share it, you have hardened the microorganisms, because with time they've used to that kind of drug. So they don't need it's all or none law. You use it and kill them off. If you fail to kill them off, next time when you want to kill them, even with the normal dose, you will fail.
So it's not about therefore let me stop.
No. You end up suppressing the organism. They will recover and they come up with greater force, and that's what we call resistance. And because they are not used to that drug, if you fire again, I say, you know what you used yesterday? There's nothing going to do today. Okay? So what you do is you kill them to finish. And that's why they say each antibiotic has the quantity of level in the circulation that should be enough to eliminate the organism. And that's why they say 1-3 times daily. What they're saying is that if they say the drug is to be taken once 3 times daily, it means that the lifespan of that drug is about 8 hours. Okay, so if you take it by the time it's about to win, you give it, so you maintain an optimal level of that drug for about 1 week. So that no such organism will not survive under that level. And then the organism dies off and you recover. But if you don't use the normal dose, the organism will just get sick and keep quiet. And they will think you are normal, and then they'll come up again.
Because if I put it very important, you can buy what if I
Down.
You go no bro, Ibiango, when you go getting on each hospital, rather again, you go war or ya, you were saying for 1 week. Ibiango 2 days, a week if I go my dog, and then Nasing on you boleto, in on you bolonabo, you may go a mistake because now. Maintenance at that level is not suppressed, steady. That's what doctor is saying now.
More some people that will take it and one could take the microorganism by surprise. So it's proper you follow the prescription given to you by the doctor.
And now we are seeing it this way now. Doctor, because whose duty is this to caution people on misuse of antibiotics? Is it the doctor or the pharmacist?
Well, I think it has to be a kind of crusade everybody should do. But the actual information should come from the doctor and the nurses, the nurses and then the pharmacists. Because you see, most of these things are information that will clearly written. That even somebody who is educated enough, you pick a drug, they will tell you, this is the dose, this is the side effect, this is toxic effect. You know why they're telling you? So that you know that this drug that they're telling, in as much as it can cure illness, it can also cause other things. So this information is what everybody should access. It's not something you want. If you want to take Panadol, one, you must adhere to doctor's prescription. That is one. The doctor is the cardinal person that prescribes drug. Okay, if you go to the pharmacist, they have to interpret what the doctors and give you according to the dose, and they have to comply. But because of the kind of system we have, even outside Nigeria, that's what we call over-the-counter drugs. The drug you can pick directly from the chemist. See, everybody buys anything
without doctors prescribing it.
Yes, but that's not proper. But even at that, if it is over-the-counter drug, if you pick such drugs, they will tell you, this is the dose. This is the side effect, this is the toxic effect of this drug, and these are the adverse reactions and the interactions Because there are certain drugs that should not be taken together. That's what they mean by interactions.
I am with this loss of romance between the pharmacists and the doctors on who takes care of drugs. On your ball, we are the and all the rest of
No, I think it's clearly defined.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Honorable Commissioner actually has been liaising with the National Center for Disease Control, and he has a set of plans that he wants to roll out starting from today in order to address all these issues that you are raising.
Mention some of them.
No, okay. Let me take, because she's a technical person and a public health consultant. So many things. But when it comes to the fundamentals and data, then I should be better to tell you what we should do as a doctor. What you see, most of this work are clearly defined. Okay, the work of the doctor is to do what is called clinical examination, come up with diagnosis, and also prescribe the drugs to the patient. In an established center, the patient will now go to the pharmacist. Okay, the pharmacist will, interpret the prescription and give the necessary drugs as prescribed. Okay, the pharmacist can also, they can in position also to advise doctors on some of the newer drugs and the better ones. That's why they go around. So these ones are clearly defined. The work of the doctor is they see the patient, make the diagnosis. But that's what's the most important thing.
That's
you cannot take. That is
pharmacy say I recommend earlier. Now if a doctor you put that he get the
most if I follow a jago come with blue doctor. Because when you catch up with different and not if I were katanpa. Each of the different element. It's just like somebody motor engine so on an engine, then they lose time. Motor yaga. So that's why the work of the doctor is critical. Every other people you have ancillary services based on if a doctor chapter. When you lab to support. Remember that before you do the lab, doctor making diagnosis. The doctor should be able to, from what we call the history, clinical examination.
Which we saw doctor recommend the lab on
doctor has said the lab because it's just like you boot a motor, say mechanic yaloba. Somebody should say na this time on an engine because and if you want to do, you have 1,001, and that's why people with that in the lab. What are you going for? Somebody would have said that this is what you're having. For instance, if after seeing a patient, the doctor will write bronchopneumonia. And he said, okay, investigation. Investigation is to confirm because doctor has the clinical acumen to know the direction of the illness and begin to attack it along that line.
Okay, talking about
before you go on here, ndị na kita onwe number na screen na obu no nwere feature eju ikpo wele number kpo ka eju ndị malụ no ayotago ndị ga-aza gị ife gbasara arụ ike gị ọ kachasị ka o si gbatali fine akpata ata antibiotics ịṅụ ya ka isi kwesị ịṅụ ya ka o wee gwọọ ya ka ọ ghara create another problem or fine akpata ata.
Okay, you wanted to ask us something.
In addition to that, today, in Anambra State, the Honorable Commissioner today will be inaugurating what is called the Technical Working Group on Antimicrobial Resistance. That Technical Working Group will be comprised of doctors, it will be comprised of pharmaceutical companies, pharmacies, NGOs, and all state and non-state stakeholders that have different roles to play in order to ensure that the general public adhere to handling antibiotics with care. It is in that technical working group meeting and fora that all these details will be addressed. They are going to roll out exactly the guidelines. How will they ensure that the job of the pharmacist and the job of the doctor is distinct? How will they ensure that everybody plays their role? Thank you.
Okay, now I want to ask, you mentioned this technical working group. Would they be playing any regulatory role to ensure that antibiotics are no longer given over the counter?
It is not that there are drugs that are called over-the-counter drugs, okay, and that's based on the National Drug Formulary.
Is antibiotics part of them?
Okay. Let's see who is here. Yeah, hello? Okay, go ahead, please.
Is antibiotics part of those over-the-counter?
No, the antibiotics are not over-the-counter drugs because The over-the-counter drugs are most of the drugs that have less side effects, like Panadol, like multivitamins and other things. The drugs that are supposed to be prescribed are not supposed to be.
I'm now asking if this team that will be set up now will look into how people buy, because I think I have experience of people going to request for some antibiotics and they are given over the counter. How would you manage the rising access of people to some of these drugs?
And that's why we are now creating this awareness. That's why we are forming a committee that will come out with the guidelines on how we handle this. Remember that antibiotic abuse, particularly in this part of the world, is terrible because people use antibiotics for prevention. You don't use antibiotics. Antibiotic is to kill off an existing organism. A young girl has just a careless sex and start taking antibiotics. And so what you are doing, you are killing yourself. Remember this antibiotic, when you take it, it also reduces the body's resistance, because while it is killing the organism, it also has some impact in the normal cells. So that if you take it before the organism will come in and finish you. Okay, so antibiotics are not supposed to be a preventive. It's supposed to be a curative, that you have been diagnosed of having this problem, and then you say you want to kill this organism with this drug. You take it properly and take it at the normal dose, normal rate, and the normal period, and you knock off the organism.
So knock it off. Yeah. Apart from what we're doing now, Prof, would you say that enough awareness has been created on the misuse of antibiotics?
I can tell you that. Let me just say we're starting. Because we're all from here, and because of a lot of factors, poverty, ignorance, so many things are not done the way it should be. And this why in this particular administration of Chief Dr. William Madabro, so we focus on what we call health reforms. Okay, the health reforms is trying to put things into proper shape. And we have done that of health insurance, we have done that of primary health care, we have done that of public-private partnership. These things are things that they are now put into Anambra state law for execution. Okay, so we're not just doing things for politics, we're doing things that are sustainable and then begin to have system to it. And that's why we're addressing drugs. We're addressing drugs at the level of what we call the drug revolving scheme, where every drug will be purchased centrally, and we begin to give it to various health centers, which I'm sure the governor will soon launch that one. Really? These are some of the policies.
It's going to be a good one.
Some of the policies that you want to make sure that, of course, if you are controlling drugs centrally, you will know what is coming in, you know how it goes, and then that if you have any side effect from any drug, you know from where you purchase it, and then fight it from that angle.
I see. Any challenge so far?
Well, I don't think there's anything one does that will have the challenge, but I think it has to be on your determination to succeed.
And what are some of these challenges, and how have you been able to conquer them?
Well, remember that in this part of the world, everybody makes business out of anything. So that before now, you find out that most hospitals purchase their drug and they make small gain and all those things. And then some people directly
let's take this caller.
Excuse me, though.
Hello, good morning. Hello. We can hear you. Go on.
Good morning. Talk to us.
Yes.
Can I forget a bit?
I can the doctor so much information.
When I
okay, Ndubisi from Ihiala.
Okay.
Aganir.
Yes, sir. You can not do by the doctor before Madana, if a doctor. Before Madana, and then take treatment.
Yes.
So, the one of my warranty, no may only go for doctor.
Okay. Okay, can I
at that point in time to raise the money.
Okay.
Okay, Dal. I want in there so if I am an Anambra state. Our Katasinken and Arike, I told onye ọbụla arụ ya bara ka o nwee ike iju n'ọgwụ na na-enewela ego anya n'iru maka ife anyị chọpụtara ebe a bụ na ọ bụ na mmadụ chi iju n'ọgwụ ọ bụgo na iju n'ọgwụ ọsọ ego one ka onye nwa na-ana. That is not proper. Ife ị ga-ajụ kedu ebe a ga-agwọta gị ọfụma. So na anyị ji nwezi Anambra State Health Insurance Agency. Ọ ga-ahụ people kwute obele ego ndị ama akwụ na onwe ife a na-akpọ adoption ọ ga-enwe ndị ga-akwụ fan so that ọ bụrụ na ị gaa n'ọgwụ eme ife a supposed ime gwọ oge otu a supposed ịgwọ without inechi anya and that ọ bụ ezi ọ magburu onwe na ọ jụrụ ajụjụ a ọ bụrụ na ndị be anyị chọrọ ka ife a niile kwụsị fa banye na this health insurance agency ha sị biko ịbanye ebe ahụ agency ga-eji akafa mee approve ụlọ ọgwụ ga-alụ ọrụ because they will approve the ones that has made the standard. So I mean, what's the quacks? Because before you get agent, no, you will card the agency get mega allocate. Now, who can choose? And the gig choose won't get their list. So I have accreditation. All the health institutions, both government and the private, they will go there and check. Open the road the standard. I'm making up again. They're gonna want them mad.
Okay, let's take this caller. Hello. Hello. Doc, go on.
So now agency will solve these things because you now queue into a process that things will be done properly. If you are within the agency, you cannot. If you go to hospital, you meet the doctor. The doctor sees you, make the diagnosis, send you to the lab. The lab does its own, bring back to the doctor. The doctor reviews his treatment to know whether it's in line with that, and then send to the pharmacy. The pharmacy does his job.
Okay, but the NHIS program has only been accessible to civil servants for now. What about other people? How do they get into it? Can you just wake up and go and register?
Well, I don't know. I don't know the way you get your information. But what we started with both the formal and the informal sectors. Formal sectors are the civil servants, and the informal sector are just anybody. And we're doing all of them. And what we're doing is because we're not doing manual capturing, we're doing electronic capturing because we want to do it perfectly well. And of course, it involves a lot of machine. So what we did is that we wanted to, finish capturing the civil servants. But even now, if you go to the agency, we have people that we're registering people, individuals. But what we want to do, as soon as we finish with the civil servants, we begin to go to various local governments, so that they carry the crusade down to the grassroots, to the schools, and make sure we get everybody captured within a short period.
All right, Doc, you may need to let us into some of the activities that you have for today and then for throughout the week before we go.
Yeah. This is antibiotic awareness week.
Yes.
And as she told you that you started the past 4 days, what we'll be able to do is, having seminars, addressing various groups. And this is the first time that this is done in Anambra State. Really? And this is the administration that introduced it. And we are working in collaboration with the National Center for Disease Control, Abuja. Okay, because why they are so concentrated in disease control is that if you are not able to handle the antibiotics, they cannot control disease. The disease will start controlling us, and then it will be catastrophic. And that's why we have to imbibe into what they're doing. And that's okay, good. So I'm sure this is the entry point. And I'm sure that maybe by next year, you may see some people from Abuja coming to speak with us about this because they know that Anambra State is focused and committed. And that's why they decided to use us at the front line, to carry this crusade in Nigeria and all over the world.
Okay. And what's your message to our people as we round off? Honorable Commissioner Josephat Akabike. Your last message to our people.
Yes, my last message to our people is that we want them to follow this government of Chief Dr. William Adambochukwu in all his projects, particularly the one that concerns me most, health. We have started health reforms in everything. We are going to say we are fighting the quacks. We have consulted the morticians. People cannot go and carry cups and start dancing around and then throwing cups as they are nothing. We have consulted the group that deals with food hygiene so that people will not sell. These are what we call health reforms. We formed the agency, we formed public-private partnership, we formed the primary health development agencies. So we let them imbibe into what we are telling them in health. And they will have health. And health in its completeness as defined by the World Health Organization. That is totally free, not physical, social, and all forms of health. They will have it and they will live well.
All right, thank you, sir. And Honorable Kate.
All right. I'd like to tell them that misuse of antibiotics puts all of us at risk. So please stop misusing antibiotics today because you are putting everyone in Anambra State at risk. When you have antimicrobial resistance, when you, for instance, go to urinate in the bush, or you go to poo-poo in the bush, the animals, maybe a dog will eat it, the chicken will come there. When somebody kills the chicken to eat, the person will carry. So it circulates around humans and the animals and the environment. So please, you are putting all of us at risk. From today, handle antibiotics with care and be careful.
Be careful.
Thank you very much.
Be careful. All get towards our health. We have heard. Una anugo ife commissioner gopota line maka nkwada na akwado maka ichekwa aru aga. We don't find it in ono maka isi edebe ozu ife niile because na ebe aka isi ebuputa so moya dị iche iche. Dalono, Honorable Commissioner Dr. Josephat Akabike, Commissioner for Health, Anambra State. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
And then Honorable Kate Edozie, SSA to Governor Obiano on health. Thank you very much for coming, ma'am.
Thank you.
And I must say, you look good.
You look good too.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been around with Dave Opasle. My name is Jama. Thanking everybody that made it happen this morning. Starting from the executive producer to the last person. You are great guys. Thank you. Do stand by now as we bring you the news at 9 and the sports thereafter.